everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The line. Here. The line. You man losing so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, we are here. You know what it is. This is Let's Talk Fantasy Football, and we're a little early. We're a day early for you. But ladies and gentlemen, we had so much stuff to talk about. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited that I'm here with my guys. I'm here with these guys that have been rocking it from day one. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to this later. These guys have been making some good calls, man. They've been making some good calls on waiver wire, fans' questions. Also missing a couple, but it's all right. We'll get into that a little bit later. But you see who I'm next to. I don't know how I'm next to him, but I have to get the armor. I got to get the armor of Washington on me because this man is hyped and ready to go. Mr. David, how about them Cowboys, right? What up, Dave?
What up?
This guy happier than anybody in the world right now. Happy. Yeah. Hey, but look, he's not the only one happy. He's not the only one happy because somebody got their revenge this week. Somebody got their revenge over those Cleveland Browns. My guy sitting in front of the Steve Curtis himself, Sydney. Stairway to 7 Swinton. Let's go. What up, Sid?
What's going on? What's going on? You know, you love it when the Browns is the Browns. So we just get that dub there.
Yes, sir.
Week.
They are who
they are who we thought they were, right? Yo, hey, I got to shout you out, Sid, man. Last 3 weeks, whether we talked about it out openly or we kind of said it on the side, you've been talking about your boy, Pat Freiermuth. He's been getting it done. Sid, man, there you go. I like that.
Hey, the game.
I actually have that highlighted to talk about today because Sid's been talking about him for weeks.
Yeah.
And this week, the man made it to every waiver article that I've read. Every single waiver article I've read when it gets to tight end is mentioning Pat Freiermuth. So way to be on that, Sid, even if your jersey's ugly.
No.
He's so talented. So talented, and just finally getting the opportunities. I knew it was coming. Ebron getting hurt definitely gave him a lot more playing time, but he's the man. Going forward, everybody should, if he's available in your league, go get him.
Absolutely. If he's available, definitely.
If you're in a league with me, he's probably not because I've been all over that.
Well, that cancels us out, Dave. All right, well, yo, let's go. And it has wait, we already got people watching. Shout out to Dalton Andrews saying, David Wright, your hat looks worse than your shirt.
You know what? Than my shirt?
The hat looks worse than his shirt. Yeah.
What up, Dalton? My hat may be ugly, but it's not as ugly as your matchup this week, sir.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Let us get right on into it. While we got you with it, I'm going to go ahead. Omaha. I'm going to call up an audible, and we got to go into Jerry's World real quick. Let's go into the Jerry's World League. Dave, talk to us, man. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring up the standings. I'm going to bring up what happened this coming week. Jerry's World, I think things are positive for me over there. What we got, Dave?
All right. So this league is continuing to be a close one. Ash, let's see. She pulled out another win against Jason this week, so she goes to 7-1. She's now got a 2-game lead on the next 6 people in the league who are all tied at 5-3. We got Dylan, Seth, Sid, Sean, myself, and Dalton. I have climbed out of the basement. I am now tied with both of you gentlemen, and all of us at 5-3. Then we got another 2-game drop down to Steven and Devin at 3-5. CJ and Ray coming in at 2-6, and Jason exactly where we left him. It's where he loves to be, right on down there by himself.
Jay.
All right. So top 3, bottom 3 in points for. I believe it is the same 3 as last week. We have Steven coming in with 1107. Only player in the league who has scored over 1,100 points. Then we got Ash and Dylan right behind them at 1090 and 1076. And then bottom three, no surprise there. We got Jason and then Ray and Dalton, who is still in the bottom three in points for in this league. And he took a loss this week, but the man is still basically tied for second place. So, yeah, I don't know how that man keeps staying in the top half of this bracket over here when he doesn't score any points.
I said you're not wrong. Shout out to Dalton.
Man. All right, and then points against top three. We got Steven. Steven has now had 1,100 points scored against him, and he has scored 1,100 points. And he's sitting there at 3-5. So all those points just, he's not getting his points at the right time. And then we got Devin and Jason. The three of them have all had over 1,000 points scored against them. And then our bottom three points against, we have Dalton, who is number one.
Yep.
I'm sorry, he's 12. And then we got Ash and Sid. Sid has joined the bottom three in points against, getting those easy matchups. But Dalton at 894, and I'm sorry, they're all 1 point apart. 1 point apart. 894, 895, and 896. So you guys just enjoy those kick matches while you can, all right?
I got one of those this week. I think is what the reason I have joined those ranks with Mr. Sean.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Loser Bowl, all right?
Wow.
We're going to talk about that game. All right, so we got a couple notable winning streaks, though. We do have Seth on a 3-game winning streak. He's quietly getting back into it. And then myself on a 4-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Ash lost in week 2, and she has not looked back. 6 games.
Jeez.
A lot of 90% playoff hopes over here. ESPN really loves the top half of the league. Steven, however, and Dalton. ESPN wants to trade Dalton for Steven. He is the only one in the top half of the bracket who is under 90% on their playoff predictions. All right, we'll jump into a couple of these matchups, run through them real quick for you guys. Seth and CJ. Seth put up 117 to CJ's 106. CJ finally decided to start 2 healthy running backs this week, and one of them was Gainwell, and I couldn't be happier to have seen that. He deserves nothing else. However, the irony, he handed another win to a Swinton. So, way to go, CJ. And then we got Devin and Dylan facing off, the 2 Wright brothers. Devin he had a decent week, put up 130 points, but Dylan is looking good over there again, 150 from him, and he only had 2 starters who scored under 15 points. And that is with running the empty slot at defense. Devin's big acquisition this week was Robbie Anderson, and if you did the same, you know how that worked out.
Yeah.
Then we got Dalton facing off against Steven. Dalton putting up 83 points.
Ooh.
To Steven's 133. Dalton, that Mahomes trade is not looking good for you, bro.
No. Oh, man.
One quick note about Jason this week. I actually had a conversation with him at work, and on behalf of the entire league, I have asked him to stop picking up players off of waivers. We have talked about Jason all year long. Jameis Winston on his bench just tore his ACL. Anything that Jason touches breaks, tears, and winds up on injured reserve. So, Jason, for the rest of the league, please stop picking players up. There are only so many startable players in waivers.
David.
Yep.
Real quick. Not only does he pick up players that get hurt, he also has a player that is most likely going to be going to jail for something that happened
Oh my
night.
God,
Oh,
He has
yeah.
Henry Ruggs.
he has
Yep.
rugs too.
Right here.
Yep. So anybody on his team
I
is
may be removing Jason as the owner of this team after
Yeah.
the show, and we're just going to leave the team as it is.
yeah,
It's just
Wow.
going to sit there. Nobody's going to touch it.
He might be under investigation.
Yeah, you got Robert Tonyan there too, torn ACL.
Oh, man.
I forgot he had rugs. Oh my God, Jason! This
Oh,
I've
good
never
for you.
heard of anyone having the kind of year that Jason's having. Good God!
Oh, Jason. I'm sorry, man.
All right, and here we had the honorable runner-up of the loser bowls. It wasn't until the very last couple minutes of the Monday night game that I broke the 100-point mark. I was facing off against Ray. It was real ugly, low-scoring affair, and I was very nervous going into the final game. He had Travis Kelce to my Daryl Williams and Danny Dimes, and I was down by about 20. I think I was down by 20 or 30 points, and I'm just grateful that Mahomes, for some reason, forgot that Travis Kelce plays for the Chiefs, and I was able to run away with that one. Now,
Oof.
I cede the floor to you, gentlemen.
Oh, God.
The loser bowl of the week. Tell me what happened.
It was a great day to have a bad day because the person I played had the worst day.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, outside
Sid,
of Adam,
Sid had one player over 16 points.
Oh, my
And
God.
Sean had only one over 10.
He only had one player in double digits.
Yes.
Oh, God. It was ugly. It was
I
ugly.
did have a 0 from Gronk getting hurt and a -6 on my defense, but
Oh.
still made it happen. So
Oh,
I
my
think
God.
I added up like 5 of Sid's players and got like 18 points.
Oh.
yeah, including my quarterback.
Oh, my God. Coach Spencer, how are you feeling? Well, we're going to go ahead and cut half the team. And, I don't really know what to say. Our quarterback, who's supposed to be our stud, didn't even get double digits. Our all-world running back that we drafted might be out, probably is out for the season. and my defense that I thought was a surprise loses to one of the worst teams in the league. I don't know. It was all good just a week ago. But right now, congratulations, Sid. Oh, God.
Any given Sunday, baby.
Exactly.
Wow. God, yeah, it's ugly. It was ugly.
All right. Well, let's jump over to Let's Talk Football so people don't have to keep looking at that matchup.
Wow. Oh, look at that. There's another one right there. I lost it. It's not been a good week for me, ladies and gentlemen, at all. All the way around. Good gracious.
This would have been fun if me and Delilah played each other. We would have tied the same score
Ooh,
this week.
nice. Oh, man. Dave, what we got in this one, man?
All right, you got it up?
Yeah.
All right. So she, the Queen of Death has continued her bloody reign
Just
in the
killing
Let's
us.
Talk Football League. She's like that Grim Reaper meme that just keeps knocking on doors. Hey, Delilah, 8-0. 8-0, another win this week. A convincing win.
Yeah.
Then we got me and Ash. I dropped another one, and Ash and I are now tied at 5-3. Then we have 6 teams tied at 4-4, much like in the other league. It's going to come down to points for a lot of people over here in this one. We got John, Daryl, Sid, Nick, Brandon, Davis, and Brandon B, all at 4-4. Moving on down to Bobby, Sean, and Ferg. They've all become best friends down there. They like to spend lots of time together, go on walks,
Oh, God.
and discuss how to lose in fantasy. 2-6. 2-6.
I want to be like my team. I want to be like my real life team. All right.
That's fair. That's fair.
Wow.
All right. Points for top 3. We have Delilah at 1,160 points. Coming in second, we've got Bobby at 1,111. Then we got John Linney coming in third at 108 points for both Delilah and Bobby, the only two over 1,100. Bottom three, we have Brandon B., Brandon Davis, and Ash. The Brandons have, they're sitting at 500. The two of them have struggled to score points in this league. Ash and I are only one game ahead of the next six players in this league. So it's a one-game difference between basically second and ninth place.
Yep.
Points against, top three, we got Ferg, Bobby, and Sid, all with over 1,000 points scored against them. And then the bottom three, we've got Brandon B., Nick, and Delilah. A couple notable winning streaks over here. Delilah obviously has not lost.
No.
Then we got Sid on a 3-game winning streak. Which
Started
is
1-4.
Let's go.
Started 1-4. Don't call it a comeback.
Let's go.
And myself, who started 5-0, I am on a 3-game skid. I'm sitting at 5-3 right now. Playoff percentage is a lot more murky over in this league. We got Delilah, who I believe she already locked it. She's at 100%.
Yep.
So even if she lost out, she would still make the playoffs, I'm guessing. Or maybe that's just ESPN kissing her ass. I don't really know.
It basically is. She just said, listen, I'm absolutely dying in my other league, so I guess this is a balance. Okay. Is that what you tell us to try to make us? Is that supposed to make us feel better?
hey, at least she's trying to make us feel better.
Right,
I'm like Ash.
Right.
Yeah.
Ash, who walks over while you're on the ground bleeding and laughs and steps on your hand.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of Ash, so I just gotta. She's like, you need to tell everybody how good I'm doing in fantasy.
Oh,
First in the other league at 7-1. In our family league between mine and her families, she's also first at 7-1. And now in this league, she's tied for second at 5-3. And let me tell you, she shouldn't have won this week. She shouldn't have won last week. She should have won the week before. But all she does is win. I don't understand it. And then gets mad at me for giving her advice when players don't play like they're supposed to.
Well, at this point, I think she should start giving you advice.
She needs to be the one on the show. I don't understand.
right. Look, she can replace all three of us. She's beating all three of us. All right.
Yeah.
So it's just rough. I don't know what to say. I can't explain it.
Yeah. So Sean, not only do I have to live with her as a Cowboys fan,
God, yeah.
and that, but I also have to live with her in fantasy world where she's kicking my ass in fantasy. Let me tell you, it is not the funnest thing to do.
All right. It's like, all right, babe. All right. I get it. You're great.
Literally. And also in this league, I'm 1 game behind her. In the other JerrysWorld, I'm 1 game behind her. No, 2 games behind her in that one. And in our family league, I'm 1 game behind her. So I'm like right behind her in all these leagues, but she's on top. So she talks all the crap.
There you go.
I love it.
Terrible.
All right, so we'll run through some matchups over here. Speaking of the devil herself, absolutely smoked John Linney. Ash, you're welcome. For Michael Carter, I know you watched the show, and you're welcome to that. John had, Robinson, Swift, Justin Jeffries, and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 scored under 5 points. The other had 8.1. You're not going to win a lot of matches when your high scorers week in and week out are giving you that. So rough week for John. Jumping
his high score was Devonte Booker.
Yeah.
Golly. Didn't we all go against him a couple weeks? Or no, we said to pick him a couple weeks ago, right?
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. But they only gave him 76, so I don't know how much that helped. Wow. Who we got next, Nick?
We got Ferg facing off against Brandon B. Brandon B edging him out, 138 to 121. Let's see. Robbie Anderson did some work for Ferg over there.
Wow.
And then you got Dalvin Cook putting up a 7.9. Rough week for Ferg.
Oh man, sorry, Ferg. Can't help you on that one.
All right, and then the Queen of Death herself facing off against Brandon Davis, and she more than doubled his point total.
Good God, Delilah.
Just stop.
Just come on. Go easy on us.
Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Amari Cooper, 29, 29, and 31.
Wow.
You will notice there was not a running back on that list. I picked Delilah to win this league because of her running backs.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks in a row, she is winning in spite of her running backs. So, I mean, Mike Evans was the highest scorer for Brandon with 12.8.
Well, Jerick McKinnon is your starter. Jameis was in there.
Yeah.
Higbee, I've been running with Higbee in another league, and he has not been doing anything. Yeah, I understand. It's all right, Brandon. I know you're going through a lot more right now with your quarterback being out, so we'll give you a pass on this one.
I mean, we might, but Delilah didn't.
No. Delilah, we can't speak for her. She's just a buzzsaw through all of us, but we'll try.
All right. Throw it over to Sid. This was actually the matchup I was really looking forward to this week. Bobby had a couple really good weeks in a row.
Yep.
Facing off against Sid. Bobby said
any hope I had is gone now. R.I.P. King Henry. Bobby, I'm sorry, buddy. I feel for you, man. I understand your pain.
I was rooting for you, Bobby. Bobby had Derrick Henry.
Oh, God.
Derrick Henry in this league. And let's see, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase, and Kyle Pitts all combined for 23.2 points. And insult to injury, we all know what happened with Derrick Henry. Bobby, I love you, man. It's not looking good.
Oh, man. I feel for you, bruh. Oh, and he sat at Melvin Gordon. Bobby, you're a Washington fan. You know you have to start anybody that's playing against us.
He started the other Denver running back. He started Devonte Williams.
But Williams, yeah. Yeah, you know, that's true because Gordon scored, once? Or did he score twice?
Once in this game. But he scored like 3 weeks in a row. I might start putting him in there.
Yeah.
I think they play you guys this week, right? The Cowboys, I think.
No, we got Tampa.
Oh yeah. No, the Denver plays the Cowboys.
We got Denver, Atlanta, and then KC.
Wow.
Sid had a real solid week though. He only had 3 players score below 15 points, and with only 1 over 20. Three below 15, and only 2 of those below 10. So solid week all around for Sid.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Man,
no complaints there.
Next up, we got Sean facing off against Daryl.
Oh, God. It looked good.
And Sean had Sean only had 3 players in double digits, and only 1 over 20 points.
Debo. Always got to rely on him. He's been doing it for me all year. But Kyler, man, it's like the Kyler that you predicted, Dave, in the beginning of the year is now starting to come out. Obviously, he's playing.
You know what?
That
was my thought when I was looking over your matchup, but I'm not gonna put that juju on Kyler. The kid is a very special talent. I'm excited for him and the Cardinals. Obviously, I live in Arizona, and love to see those guys do well. But I do love to see your fantasy team tank because of adaptability.
Wow. Good old Kyle. It's all right. It's all right. My brother might have beat me this week. I might be 2-6, but like my team, we will see the mountaintop. God, 11th place, not 12th. 11th. Can we make that clear? Sorry, Ferg. I might be tied for last, but I'm not technically in last. I just think that needs to be known. I don't know. Wow.
All right. Then we got the The last matchup over here was Nick and myself. I was trying to, I took the L last week during BYEMAGGEDON. Didn't want to drop anybody, and sitting at 5-1, I felt like it was a pretty safe move. I went to 5-2. Went up against Nick, who was on a little winning streak, and it didn't work out so well for me. This one was hard for me to watch. I did not have Dak in this league, obviously, and I agonized over this decision. I picked up Cooper Rush the night before, and I knew that I wasn't going to take a quarterback in the morning games because I was giving Dak as much time as I could. So I took Cooper Rush, and then I was left with a couple choices in the afternoon games. I went with Mac Jones. It did not work out very well. There were numerous. I think there were probably like 5 quarterbacks on waivers this week who, if I had taken, I would have won this matchup. Nick only had 2 players in single digits, his tight end and his kicker. Solid week all around for him. It was a winnable match for me going into it at the end. I couldn't get it done. Congratulations, Nick.
Big Nick said he got the victory over here in the comments. What up, Nick?
Yeah. Well, I'll be seeing you again, Nick.
There you go. I can dig it.
All right.
Feel for you, Nick, man, because you are another one that has Ruggs on your bench. You also have Carson, and you see what Philip Lindsay did, so you might as well put him in that category as well. Nick, I feel for you. Until you come up against me, then I don't feel for you so much. Let's go. Being honest with you, buddy. Let's go. Woo! Let's get it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man. Oh, wow. Wow, Nick. Win on these nuts. Really? Maturity. Let's go. The smoke, ladies and gentlemen. He's bringing the smoke a little bit. The round table will not be with you tonight. It's going to be with you Thursday night right after this week at SEC. So definitely tune in because Nick's got some smoke. His team is struggling like myself. We take it differently. I can sulk quietly to myself and watch Golden Girls and just eat ice cream. This man is going to go hard on anybody that says anything. My man Sid understands. Sid simply typed last dance and Nick lost it. So
Lost his mind.
Just lost his mind. All right. So don't mess with my man Nick. We'll see you on Thursday, Nick. Definitely. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad you are here with us. We see you guys in the comments. Delilah's with us, Nick, Nathan. Nathan Snell is with us. He's going to be in the background. What up, Bobby? What up? Who's that? Wendy, what's going on? Hey, Dalton. Yo, appreciate you guys sticking with us and watching us. And we're going to go ahead and keep this thing moving. And we want to talk about, look, like we talked about, Dave, you talked about some of your matchups. You're on that, 2 or 3 game losing streak because of BYEMAGGEDON, because this is the point where you're having not only bye weeks, but you are having injuries. I mean, I guarantee you a lot of guys that might have been doing great this week are scrambling. And Bobby, you talked about it. Derrick Henry going down. I guarantee I'm one of those people. In one of my leagues, I was very dependent on him. You know, everybody else in the lineup is movable. He's not. Even if he's on bye week, I'd still trust him more. Like, he's just that guy. He's amazing. So him being out is really going to get a lot of people kind of like, oh, my God, what do I do? So we're going to be here, try to help you out a little bit with a little waiver wire help. We're going to talk to you a little bit about that. But before we do, Dave, I'm coming to you. How did we do last week with some of the things we were talking about with the waiver wire?
All right. So Sid and I both gave you Danny Dimes. We're going to call this one a push. It's 16.08. It is not what we were hoping for with a highly capable rushing quarterback against that Chiefs defense. I wanted rushing yards. I wanted rushing touchdowns. We didn't get it. 16 is serviceable, but we're going to call that one a push. Sid urged you to look into Gainwell over in Philly, and that did not work out so well. If you decided to go the Boston Scott route, or the Jordan Howard route that ended up working out much better for you. I will caution you. I'm selling on all of those guys, though. Sid whiffed on one out of 3 running backs, but yeah, I don't see that being a consistent thing. Sid also gave you Cobb and Valdez-Scantling over in Green Bay. Obviously, with Devontae Adams out, Green Bay pass catchers were kind of a question mark. We weren't sure who was going to get it done. Cobb definitely got it done with 16.5, Scantling with 9. So definitely a good call there on Cobb. However, Sid also gave us Dante Pettis, and that was a big 0.
He got hurt.
I'm also gonna call this next one a push for Sid because for tight ends, Robert Tonyan. He gave you 7.9 points. It looked like Aaron Rodgers was going to be pushing that ball. And if you picked him up, you got 9 points and a tight end on the IR now. So that didn't work out too well. I also gave you guys Tua and Wentz. Both of those quarterbacks were waiver picks based on their schedule over the next 4 to 5 weeks. Wentz was not a pick for this week. He did put up 18. Tua, I like this week, and he put up. I'm sorry, Tua was going against Buffalo this week, so he put up 15. They both have very favorable schedules going forward, so we'll see how that works out.
Nice. So, Sid, what do you got this week, man? I'll start with you.
So I got a lot more than I did last week. So some injuries caused for a lot of openings. So we got a lot here. So start for the quarterback. Now, either of these, I don't think I would start either of these this week, mainly because of who they are and their matchups. But so quarterback, I got Taysom Hill. James going down. He should be the guy over Trevor Siemian, but he is hurt. So I'm not sure he's going to be getting just yet. When he comes back, I'm sure he'll be the guy. So his rushing attempts is going to make him a fantasy viable quarterback, I believe, going forward. The other one, Justin Fields, after his day. As long as Nagy doesn't – I mean, Nagy was out, so obviously they let him run a little bit, and Fields looked great. I wouldn't start Fields this week, though, because the Steelers shut down running quarterbacks. Look at Lamar Jackson's stats against the Steelers. The Steelers are the only team that shut him down. So I think they do the same to Justin Fields because they're him and Lamar similar quarterbacks. But going forward, if Fields is allowed to run, he should be that Jalen Hurts type. I mean, you could start him because of his rushing. For running backs, I got a long list. I didn't really put them in order, but I think they're all guys that you can look at and should be hopefully serviceable. No, I don't think any of them are home run hitters just yet, but they could be going forward. The clear and obvious one with Derrick Henry going back down, his backup Jeremy McNichols, and then the freshly signed Adrian Peterson. Obviously, those are going to be the guys going forward. I don't think Adrian Peterson will be anything this week. Obviously, just getting there. But next week, I bet you Adrian Peterson. I would think Adrian Peterson is going to be the guy over McNichols just because they've had McNichols there this whole time and he never gets the ball, so I don't trust him yet.
Right.
But definitely worth a pickup to see how he does this week. Next is Carlos Hyde with James Robinson going out. Hyde isn't as talented as Robinson, so I wouldn't expect him to produce as much as Robinson has, but he should be able to get the goal line carries if they can get down in that area because the Jags aren't the best. But starting running, we've talked about it before, starting running back in the NFL is somebody that you should have on your roster. So Carlos Hyde should be that guy if James Robinson were to miss any time. Another one is Derek Gore for the Kansas City Chiefs. Anybody that watched that game yesterday, it looked like he was splitting time with Daryl Williams. So at this point, if he's going to split time, get 50-50 chances, he looked good running the ball. I have Daryl Williams in 4 leagues, so I understand David's frustration with him not getting all the touches. But Derek Gore looked good. So if they're going to split that, he's definitely somebody that should be picked up in fantasy. And the last one is Mark Ingram. Now that he's back in the Saints, especially with Jameis going down, they're going to lean heavy on the run game. Yes. And Mark Ingram knows that offense. He's been there, so they know how to split carries. And when he was there last time, he was very serviceable as a fantasy running back. So a lot more than last week. I can't guarantee they all hit, but I do like that group of guys. At least there's some options for you if looking on the waiver wire. Next to receivers, I have Jameson Crowder. If Magic Mike White Lightning over there in the Jets can keep swinging it. Jameson Crowder, I mean, he had like 11 targets, I think, so that's absolutely what you want from a receiver. I mean, if he's going to get thrown the ball that many times, you want him on your team. I've avoided anybody on the Jets not named Corey Davis so far, but I think Crowder is the guy going forward, especially because Davis has been hurt. Next one up, Devonte Parker in Miami. He's looked like Tua's favorite target this last week because he's been injured for 3 weeks, so he hasn't played. But last week, he kept looking for Devonte Parker, and Parker's got talent. He's been in the league for a long time, so I don't mind picking him up. Another one is Van Jefferson for the Rams. With the Deshaun Jackson being let go, I think Van Jefferson's role is going to be stepped up a little bit. Obviously, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are the guys there, but there's plenty of ball to go around in that offense. So I think Van Jefferson is viable to pick up going forward. Another one, I know Cobb had a good week this week, but I'm going to give it to you again because he is Aaron Rodgers. Behind Devontae Adams, Cobb is Rodgers' favorite target. Hands down, especially with Robert Tonyan going down. Cobb's going to become that possession guy, and I like him a lot going forward. And then the last one I got with the recent news of Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards for the Raiders. Okay. Keep an eye on him because if Ruggs misses any time with this or it doesn't play anymore, he's going to be the next guy up. That offense passes a lot, so I can see an increase in his target share going forward. As for tight ends, we're going to give you Mercedes Lewis. He's the other tight end in Green Bay. I can't see him doing a whole ton because he's a little bit older, but he is going to be a guy that Rodgers is going to look to in the end zone. So I like him if you need somebody going forward. I have on my list Foster Moreau still in case because Darren Waller was hurt. They're coming off of a bye week, so hopefully he's better. But if he's not, Foster Moreau should be picked up and would be a viable starter if Waller misses time. And then I have to shout out my guy because I've been screaming his name for weeks.
Yes.
And he showed up more than once, but he got the game-winning touchdown. And it was an amazing catch on top of that. Yep. Pat Freiermuth, if he's out there, go get him. I've been telling you guys, he's the real deal. He has arrived. And then
I love it.
Lastly, we haven't done drops in a couple weeks, but I do have a couple drops for you.
Yeah.
OBJ no longer needs to be on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to have him. If you got him, let him go. Yeah. I also think Robbie Anderson has joined that group.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think he's had maybe one game over 10 points this year.
All right.
Time to give up.
I don't think he ever got off that list.
People started him. That's why I had to add him to the list. Right. So I'm like, go somewhere else. I promise there's better options.
Yo, also real quick, I just got an update on my phone. Broncos tight end Noah Fant was placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. So, now we're going to need somebody in Denver.
Yeah, I don't think that upgrades any tight ends there because they're not going to be as talented as Fant, but I do think that upgrades Tim Patrick. We've talked about Tim Patrick all the time on this show. I think he gets a boost this week because of that. Just this week, not going forward. I think Jerry Jeudy might come back. If he didn't come back
he played last game.
Okay,
he didn't do much though.
But he's going to get more healthy going forward. Obviously, that was his first game back. But I think Tim Patrick gets the boost because of Fant missing, not another tight end.
Yep. Absolutely. Dave, what you got, man?
My quarterbacks, Justin Fields. I drafted him in both leagues and dropped him. But he, with young quarterbacks like this, I that's the kind of game that can solidify their confidence. And really the standout to me in that game was the 10 rushes for 103 yards and a touchdown. He put up 30.3. His passing yards weren't that impressive, 175 with a touchdown. But his schedule going forward, he's got Pittsburgh and then the bye. Baltimore, and then Detroit.
Mhm.
His playoff schedule is going to be Minnesota, Seattle, and the Giants. I think if he's out there, stash him, get him. He may not be your starting quarterback each week, but he could be a season saver as we come down the wire. I am not completely sold on the great white Matt Hyde.
Hey, I didn't say
Not
it. It
sold.
wasn't on my list.
You can't argue with the 400 yards with 3 touchdowns. He did, and 2 interceptions. But from what I saw, he checks the ball down a lot. He was not chasing big plays the way Zach Wilson tends to do. And I think that let's see, going forward, he's got Indy, Buffalo, Miami, and Houston. Over the next 4 weeks, he's got a rough go. I mean, I don't see this him putting up numbers like that again. However, I think the impact he possibly could have on his pass catchers, notably his running backs, which is where I'm going after this, could boost the productivity of some of his pass catchers. Derek Gore, I was definitely disappointed to see what I saw last night, and it's not just about the split carries or the touchdown. It's the fact that watching the two of them was like watching Zeke and Pollard earlier this year. Gore just he was more explosive. He looked hungrier. He looked like a more dynamic player. And it made me very nervous because obviously I had Daryl Williams in the game, who got his touches, he got his carries, but I'm definitely looking at Derek Gore. Adrian Peterson and Jeremy McNichols. What I found very interesting about McNichols, he has not had more than 2 carries in a game all year. However, he has been targeted in every game except for 1. What I really love about these targets, I'm going to list them off week by week for you. Week 1, 3 catches on 4 targets. Week 2, 3 of 3. Then 1 of 2, 8 of 12, 2 of 2. He put up a 0 against Buffalo, and then 1 and 1 and 3 and 3. He catches the ball when they throw it to him.
Right.
With Derrick Henry out, I mean, I can see them utilizing him in the passing game a lot more, and that's very intriguing to me. So we'll see going forward there. I love Adrian Peterson. You just cannot count that man out.
Yep.
I will root for him every time he suits up. So good to see him back. Ty, obviously Michael Carter's balling out, but Ty Johnson, 6 for 7, 65 yards, 13.1 points 2 weeks ago. 5 of 6 for 71 yards and a touchdown for 19.6. He's very involved in the passing game. And like we just talked about with Matt White's going to be facing some solid defenses, and I think he's going to be checking the ball down a lot. So I think both those running backs could be seeing a lot of action in the passing game. Ty Johnson owned in 5.3% of leagues, so should be an easy pickup there if you need somebody. Wide receivers, Van Jefferson was definitely my top, 8.5% owned with Deshaun Jackson leaving, like Sid said. Plenty of ball to go around over there. My tight end this week, though, was Dan Arnold. He had a season high in receptions, targets, and yards. It was 8 for 10 for 68 yards. But with Robinson out, it's just it's more opportunities for everybody who is there. So, season high across the board stat-wise, definitely worth a look and to see if he continues to produce off of that.
Oh, I like that.
That's what I got for you.
I like that. Yo, that was definitely good. I definitely echo both of your sentiments. I had my notebook out, writing stuff down, and the comeback begins now. Let's go. I will take your own words and use them against you. Let's go. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we have to move on. And before we do, we want to move on to the fans' questions, ladies and gentlemen. We got a couple in here. Before we do, I gotta bring in my guy who is joining us from work, but he's able to get on. My guy, Nathan Snell. What up, Nate?
Hey,
What's going on, fellas?
good to
How
see
we
you,
doing
sir.
today, man?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. Now, real quick, Dave, I'm going to come to you. Last week, you guys asked us a lot of questions. So, Dave, I want you to just, how did we do last week?
We did pretty well. Both Ryan Hayes and Bambo brought the David Johnson, Philip Lindsay question to us. Sid and I both took a hard pass on that. David Johnson put up 1.3, Philip Lindsay 0.8. So points to us on that. If you did see Rex Burkhead coming at the 13.8, good for you. Serviceable waiver pickup if you were missing somebody. Lazo asked us to sit one of these four receivers: Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel, CeeDee Lamb, and Calvin Ridley. Sid and I both pounced on Ridley, and we all know what happened. So more points for Sid and I. Ryan Hayes jumped in again, asking if we liked Ertz or Goddard to start that week, and both Sid and I took Ertz. Sean took Goddard. Point to Sean.
Yeah.
Ryan Hayes actually came in with his bold prediction of the week. And hey, if you're out there, Ryan, shout out to you, man. You gave us a bunch of good stuff last week. Yeah. But Ryan came out with the prediction that Detroit would defeat Philadelphia. Sid and I both jumped in, absolutely agreeing.
Yeah.
Said it with our chest.
Right. Hey, hold up, Dave. Everybody that's on this show agreed. All right. Nathan Snell agreed with us on our other show. So we all agreed. And we all ate crow.
So Ryan, welcome to the program. You got your first loss, along with all of us. Right. Bossman Fat asked who to start between Cole Beasley and Melvin Gordon. Sid and Sean both took Beasley. I took Melvin Gordon. They edged me out on that, but at 19 points, Melvin was a viable starter. He just got edged out by Beasley's 26. LeBron's Brain asked if he should trade Pittman for Brandon Cooks. Both Sid and I urged you not to do so. We really like Pittman, who put up 30.6 to Cooks 20.3. Ryan Hayes asked us about Seattle versus Jacksonville. Both Ryan and I leaned Jacksonville on that. Sid was leaning Seattle, so another point for Sid. And again, appreciate you, Ryan. All right, what do we got this week, sir?
Definitely appreciate you. So we're gonna come with your fan questions, and we have our guy here, Nathan, who's gonna definitely be asking some of the questions. I'm gonna get to you in just a second. We do have a couple questions from the crowd. Oyul, I hope that's how you pronounce it. He said Damian Harris or Eli Mitchell, full PPR league.
That's a good one. It's a good question. I'm gonna look at their matchups real quick.
Yeah.
I think I lean Elijah Mitchell here. Let me double check. All right, so the Niners got the Bears. Or no, that's who they played this week. Let me get to next week.
Who's the first player?
Damian Harris,
running back for the Patriots, or Elijah Mitchell, running back for the Niners. Niners play the Cardinals, and Patriots play the Panthers. Panthers have had a decent defense early on, but they've struggled as of late. I like the Cardinals defense, but they got 8 up by the Packers. I'm going to go Elijah Mitchell this week because I think J.J. Watt is a huge missing piece in the Cardinals defense, and they saw it last week with the rushing from A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. I like Damien Harris's matchup, so I don't think you can go wrong here, but I would go Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell's playing Arizona?
Yeah, I think my main reason for that is Damian Harris does still give up touches to Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden, where Elijah Mitchell doesn't as much, and I think that's why I'm going Elijah Mitchell.
I can see that.
I think Arizona is going to be really pissed off this week. I'm definitely going to lean Damian Harris on that just because we know Bill Belichick loves to run the football. He loves possession-oriented football. So I think, like Sid said, you can't go wrong either way, but I'm going with the coach who likes to run the ball.
Yeah. I agree. I echo both of your sentiments. You can't go wrong. I would go Mitchell myself because of kind of similar to what you were talking about, Sid. Watch out. And this is a divisional matchup. And, those always are close. And if I'm not mistaken, then they played before. Was it like 17-10?
Yes, it was 17-10. That was the actual score. Yep. So
a close game. We absolutely know that, Shanahan loves running the ball. So I think it's going to be more that. And the only edge I give to Mitchell over Damian Harris is, like you were talking about, Damian Harris has to share carries with the other two guys. Mitchell's going to be the only guy, and I think they're going to be very run heavy this week. But at the end of the day, if I had Damian Harris and not Mitchell, I would still be fine. Like I think so. I think so. All right, one more question that we got from you guys. I was offered Antonio Brown for James Conner in a full PPR. My other receivers are Robert Woods, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Thomas, and Allen Robinson. My running backs are Eckler, Henderson, Gaskin, and Chris Carson. Thoughts and thanks. So he was offered Antonio Brown for James Conner in a full PPR.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I think this is the first trade questions we've got that I like it. Yeah, I think I would do that. James Conner seems to be very touchdown dependent. He's got 8 through this season already, which isn't bad because he's getting them. But I think if he doesn't carry that on, he's gonna fall off pretty heavily. Especially because he's not used nearly as much in the passing game as Chase Edmonds is. I like your running backs with Eckler, Henderson. Chris Carson comes back. He's going to be another great starter. So I think you're good there. Gaskins has come along since his rocky start. And I think Antonio Brown is honestly an upgrade over everybody. Maybe Robert Woods is close, but I like him more than Jeudy, Michael Thomas, and Allen Robinson. So I think it's a big upgrade there, and you don't lose a lot in your running back room.
Yeah,
absolutely. We've talked about AB numerous weeks. When you have a dynamic player whose quarterback always looks for him, even with all the mouths to feed over there, I don't think you can pass that up. You're balanced across both the wide receiver and running back rooms, and it's an upgrade. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I gotta agree. Honestly, with the names on that list of receiver, I think you bring Antonio Brown in and start him right away. I mean, Robert Woods, is great and they're passing a lot, but obviously we've seen Cooper Kupp is getting the bulk of the receptions in that one. Judy's still getting his feet under him. We know about Michael Thomas, and Nathan, you can attest to this. Allen Robinson is just he ain't on the same page with the quarterback this year. Yep. He ain't with it. Your running backs, Henderson's been showing up recently. Eckler, obviously, and Gaskin, like you say, is he seems to get it done regardless of what happens. He seems to continue to get it done week in and week out. Carson, when he gets back, I think is good. So I definitely go Antonio Brown. I was one of those that definitely jumped on Connor a couple weeks ago, and it has been either hit or miss. So yeah, I like the trade. I like it for sure. Yo, we got our guy in here, Nathan Snell. Oh, Trey. No doubt, buddy. No doubt. Hey, every week, the next couple weeks is going to be Tuesday, right, Dave?
Yes,
Tuesday
sir.
At 6. Yeah, next couple weeks is going to be Tuesday at 6, Trey. But for the most part, we're on Wednesdays at 6. Come in here, join us, hit us up with your questions, man. We'll try to do the best job we can answering them. And then next week, come back and we'll, you can tell us how you did. We'll tell you, what we think or what happened, what was our picks on it. So, got to bring in my guy, man. Got to bring in the host of Big Nate Talk Podcast, one Nathan under Snell, like my guy Nick Rosario says. Yo, Nathan, man, what's going on, man? This is your first year doing fantasy. You got one team. How's it going, man?
So far so good. We're 500 on the year so far. The bye week and a couple injuries. I think the biggest blow was Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
My first question is, who should I replace him with? And also to Kareem Hunt. I don't have running back.
So I think.
What was the question?
So he's lost both Derrick Henry and Kareem Hunt being on IR. Who does he replace them with?
Gotcha.
I think you go. I think long term. I'm making a bold statement here, but I'm going Adrian Peterson over McNichols long term. If you're looking for just a week fill-in, McNichols just this week, but I think Adrian Peterson is going to produce more than McNichols in the long run. Adrian Peterson he was in a couple bad offenses in Detroit and Washington. No offense.
Yep. No, it's true. You're right.
But I think he still got it. He didn't look bad in those offenses. So I think the Titans are a very run-heavy team. They have a great line, so I think he'll produce and would be the viable guy going forward.
If you guys can see on the screen, I put up his team.
Let's scroll down to the bench.
Yeah. Lamar, Gallagher.
As for
And
Kareem
also
Hunt,
too, in the league that I'm in, it's an 8-man league, and there's people that are not liking trades.
Okay,
Real quick, Dave. The other thing about this league is they had it's a 2 tight end. You have to start 2 tight ends in the league. So
Gotcha.
that made things a lot different in coming up. But go ahead. Sorry about that.
For me, I mean, even in an 8-team league, you're not replacing Derrick Henry
Mm-hmm.
and Nick Chubb off of waivers. You're just not. At that point, to be able to replace that production, you're going to have to move. You're going to have to make a move. You're going to have to talk to somebody in your league, find somebody who needs what you still have, and make a move for a viable running back, because the two of them that you can't find that production off the waiver wire. One of them maybe to be able to just slow the bleeding, but at that point, man, I'm definitely looking to make a trade.
Yeah, the league I'm in, where no one, I put in like 5 trade offers, and
Did you offer me a trade? Because I got a couple guys that I might send your way. I mean, I like what you got going on over here. That Cooper Kupp looks pretty nice, man. If you want to, let him go.
No, Cooper Kupp's staying. I'm willing to trade.
And just ignore those people like Sean, who when you start out the trade, they just go straight after your top guy.
Right. Look, I'll trade. Look, I'll trade you Chris Carson for Cooper Kupp.
another guy on the IR.
Right. Oh man, yeah. Have you offered me a trade, Nathan, in this other league?
No, I've offered who was it? Will
Cutthroat,
Cam.
Cutthroat, Cam Cutthroat.
I offered up Justin Herbert for Kyler Murray, and no one accepted it. So
who did you say it again?
I offered up Justin Herbert for Kyler Murray, and no one accepted it.
That's funny. If I'd been in your league and I had Kyler Murray, I would have accepted that trade probably.
Right.
I've just been scared of Kyler Murray all year. Like, he's balling out. He puts up great numbers. For such a young quarterback, he's been phenomenal in the fourth quarter. I had him last year. He just slow play the whole game. But I think Justin Herbert, he's the dude.
Right. Yeah, no, it's just also I think the biggest mistake, okay, as a novice, like I drafted 3 defenses. Was that smart?
Well, that's another thing. Look, you can still get rid of one of those defenses, if not 2, depending on bye weeks. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think I would let go of the Niners defense. I don't think they are who they are known as. That Niners defense is not relentless like they used to be. I like the Buffalo defense. I like the Rams defense. I personally only roll with one defense. I'm in 6 leagues. I stream a defense usually every week, unless I come across somebody like the Cowboys early on, who were just getting me interceptions every week, so I just kept rolling with them. But yeah, generally I'm a one defense guy. I try and keep my bench as deep as possible. Even having looks like you have Lamar and Derek Carr. We talked about this last week with Derek Carr. Somebody asked if they should keep Herbert. It might have been you.
That was him.
Herbert.
Yeah, it was it.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you could drop Carr. I think you have 2 kickers. I think you could drop the kicker, second kicker. Just roll with one. That's all positions on your bench that should be running backs and receivers specifically for this scenario when you lose your top guy.
But that's the thing. I don't have any. There's no in our league. No one's willing to trade.
Look, you have not offered me a trade. I am in this league. I'm already telling you right now. I'll take Carr off your hands. And matter of fact, I mean, I'll take a couple of these guys off your hands. Look, why don't you?
You're not touching Cooper Cup.
Look,
Nathan.
Look, we can talk about it after the show.
back to what Sid was saying about defenses and kickers. Defense, I draft a defense. This was the first year that I actually dropped the Baltimore defense 2 weeks ago. I am running an empty slot in defense every single week because I'm not letting go any of the position players. I've won both weeks. Defenses are they're a double-edged sword. Now they're not going to give you a lot of points most of the time, so it's pretty negligible where they can cost you points. They constantly go negative. The Baltimore defense went -6 points on me. I dropped them, and I haven't looked back. I did try and pick up the Chicago defense, but somebody else got it. And at that point, I'm like, I'm not going to stress over the 6-7 points. I'm going to pick up a position player for 2 reasons. 1, because it gives me depth, and 2, it keeps that position player from being picked up by somebody else, even if I don't start him that week. So I'm definitely with Sid on the defense. He streams them every week. I've got the Buffalo defense in one league, and I had the Baltimore defense in the other league. One is working out great, the other isn't. So now I'm just running empty slot. I'm not even streaming.
Okay, so I should drop San Francisco and try to find a receiver or a running back.
Look, so, I told you, I'll trade with you, buddy.
He's not
good, man.
You send that San Francisco defense over to Sean.
Here's the thing, Nathan. I would honestly, if I were you, this is the reason you only take one defense and one kicker, and even just one backup quarterback. You don't usually need 2. First, David, be glad you didn't take Chicago. They were -6 points this week. Anyway, back to this because I'm the one that got them. Anyway, you keep those spots empty on your bench because you have stashed running backs, receivers. I mean, Derrick Henry's backup. Whoever your other running back is, backup. That way, when they do go down, you're not the one just hoping you get the waiver pickup to get them because you already have their backup.
Bless you.
So that's the point. When you're stashing 3 defenses, 2 kickers, and 3 quarterbacks, you're taking up 4 spots on your bench that could be people that go in way more often when they get hurt. Then, I mean, you're never gonna need 2 kickers. If a kicker gets hurt, you can easily pick up another kicker. Nobody has like multiple kickers where you can't find one. 2 quarterbacks, I completely understand because if one goes down, you definitely want another guy. That's perfectly fine. I don't have 2 quarterbacks in a lot of leagues. If I have a guy, he's my guy, and I don't need a backup unless he goes down. Then I'll figure it out from there. But my bench is 90% running backs and receivers because they get hurt so often and they're interchangeable going forward. So you just need to play the waivers, constantly look at who's available, and get. I think I listed 5 running backs this week, 3 receivers. Those are the guys every week. There's people that are available to pick up because of injuries. Those are constantly pick them up, and that's how you end up with like Dearness Johnson last week, or if you would have got Chuba Hubbard when Christian McCaffrey went down. Like those are the backups that come alive during the week.
Daryl Williams.
He was.
I drafted CEH in both leagues, and in both leagues I drafted Daryl Williams.
Right.
I drafted CMC with the pick in the Let's Talk Football League, and I drafted Chuba Hubbard, who I very stupidly let go after week 1 because I needed the roster spot. I'm like, it's week 1. We're fine. I'll go get him later. didn't get him back.
And so that's why you don't need to keep the backup defenses and the backup kickers, because you want other running backs and receivers for when inevitably your guys go down. Nobody ever has the same team they drafted all the way through fantasy.
I got you.
People get hurt all the time, or they just don't produce, like Robbie Anderson or something like that. So you always want to keep a plethora of running backs and receivers, and not so much defenses and kickers.
Right. When I did when we did the draft, I had everything kind of planned out, and then like after the second round, it was like, oh, okay. Like I think the first two, someone had the first two picks, and they were tight ends, and it was like, okay. So.
No, it was they had the last pick of the first round, first pick of the second round.
Right. Yeah,
and our league was a 2 tight end league. Like you start 2 tight ends. So they were like, oh, let's pick this up and get ahead of it. And it was kind of like, it just made it weird. Somebody picked up Pat Mahomes in the second, Josh Allen was picked up at like the second round or something like that.
In leagues like that, I get really excited because I draft a ton of running backs and receivers. So to give you an example, one of my leagues, I'm in a 12-team league, and my running backs currently are Zeke, I got in the first round, Najee Harris, I got in the second round, James Robinson, I got in the third round, and then I still went running back. I got DeAndre Swift in the fourth round.
Yeah.
And now James Robinson's hurt, and I still have 3 of the top 10 running backs in the whole league, in a 12-team league, because everybody else is going tight ends or quarterbacks. Whereas, for example, that league, I'm just going to give you exactly who I have, so I'm not lying. Tight end-wise, I picked up Dalton Schultz. Wasn't drafted because I went running back heavy, so I didn't have a lot of choices when it came to tight ends and quarterbacks late because everybody was taking them early. Right. I was stashing on running backs. Playing fantasy for so long, you learn running backs get hurt. Yeah. They don't produce. You need a lot of running backs. So I went super heavy there. And then quarterbacks, like I have Ryan Tannehill, very serviceable. He gets me 18 to 20. But because I'm so stacked at running back, and if somebody gets hurt, I have very fill-inable guys. I've been sustainable in that league. But that's just an example of you got to stick to you got to make a game plan of how you want to draft, whether it's like running back, or running back, receiver, running back. It's and don't worry about what everybody else does. Just stick to your game plan. If they want to go off the script and you can get somebody late, that's perfect. But yeah, I definitely know the first time you draft and you see somebody else going tight end, you're like, oh shoot, I need to get a tight end now.
I gotta do that, right?
Type thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think by the third round, I think Kelsey, Waller, Kettle, Andrews,
and they're all gone. Right. So then at that point, so that's my thing. Is at that point, so those are the guys. Your next guy, like the 5th tight end and the 15th tight end, are the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're all interchangeable. So who cares if you get the 5th guy if you're going to get the 10th guy and they're going to be the same person?
I have running back on the bench, but he fractured his hand. I think.
Who?
Dawson Knox for the Bills.
Knox.
Yeah.
So I feel
doing good.
He's a guy I could cut. What should I do about Kenny Galladay? Because he's not producing. He's only averaging 10 points.
Yeah, I think he's a droppable player too.
We've talked about that a couple times now, I think.
Here, go to the players available in this one real quick, Sean. Just to give, this is a great example of what to see. So go to add player. Let's see who's on waivers right now.
I saw a couple
in this league. And just go to the running backs.
I do want to touch on what Sid was just saying, though, about the draft and how important it is to have your plan going in and know which of your guys you're willing to adjust your strategy for. Like you were saying with the tight ends, if the next tight end up isn't worth sacrificing your draft strategy for, then don't do it. Just stay true to what you're doing. But you also have to be able to completely change your draft strategy based on what other people are doing. I'm very running back heavy, just like Sid. Sid and my brother Dylan, they taught me a lot of what I know about fantasy. I love running backs. However, in the JerrysWorld League, I reached for Kyle Pitts. I know that I was going to miss out on, a top 10 receiver, but receivers were so deep. I knew that I could make that up down the road. Now you skip that wide receiver 1, and you might end up with a couple wide receiver 2s. Then you jump everybody on every position. Then you go for the best tight end available. And then that's when people start grabbing defenses too early and whatnot. If you miss one position, you can always get ahead of the rest of the positions.
Right.
But you
example,
have to know what your plan is and what players you're going to reach for.
True. Because like I did it okay, I'd like say, okay, here's my quarterbacks, tight ends, and as everyone was going, I was like, okay, like 1B, 1C. I mean, it worked, but like I said, like with the 2 tight end league, that was a little difficult. So my first pick was Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And then I had Mike Davis, and he wasn't getting like, I think he was getting like 4 points. And I saw Cordero Patterson. I was like, okay, let me drop him and pick him up.
Yep.
So
that's a good call. And so, but the thing is I would have kept Mike Davis and dropped one of your defenses and just kept Mike Davis on the roster. That way, if something happens to Cordero, you got Mike Davis there and you don't got to fight for him on waivers. So, just for an example, just going through this list of who's available for you, scroll back up a little bit, Sean. I'd pick up Myles Gaskin, Michael Carter, Kenyon Drake. Those 3, I think you could start right away, now.
Can I drop Kareem? Can I move Derrick Henry to IR and drop Kareem Hunt?
I would.
How long is he supposed to be out?
Derrick Henry, I think, is done for the season. So
No. Kareem.
Oh, Kareem's was only like a 3 or 4 week injury, so he should be coming back. I wouldn't drop Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
I would
just
keep
like
him in the IR slot.
David Montgomery is available in this league, and we're getting closer to when he's supposed to come back.
Right. So I wouldn't worry about dropping like Kareem Hunt. I would drop your backup defenses, your backup kicker, maybe even Derek Carr if you can stack up on I would honestly try and pick up 3-4 of these running backs and figure out going forward which one is going to be the best week to week. But you don't want to you only get one of these guys, and that's the one that misses, where you could have had 4 of these guys because I'm only saying that because you can drop. I would drop 2 defenses and a kicker and Derek Carr. That's 4 spots right there. You still keep everybody, and actually you could drop Derrick Henry if you want to keep 2 defenses or whatnot, because Derrick Henry's not going to play the rest of the year, so you don't need to keep him.
And what I love about that, the shotgun approach right here, is that it could allow you to make the same move I made last week, which was picking up David Montgomery because somebody had to drop him. Now, if you pick up 4 running backs, you're not going to start them all this week. You have a couple weeks to be able to wait and see how this thing shakes out, and you could wind up with a solid starting running back 3 weeks down the road.
Yeah. You got Mark Ingram here. He's still available. AP down here. He's available. Carlos Hyde. A lot of these guys are the guys that Sid and David mentioned earlier. Ty Johnson down here. You know what I mean? So you could
Michael
definitely.
Carter's out there though, right?
Yeah. He's out there, but he's wavered. So I don't know who might have picked him up.
Everybody's wavered today because it's Tuesday. So
Yeah, we usually do the show the day after waivers, but it goes through at 1 a.m. my time tonight.
Yeah. So Michael Carter, yeah. So scroll through that, and I may or may not be scrolling through it myself on my phone. So anybody that's not there, sorry, bro. But Nathan,
Sean's about to go pick all these guys up and then I'll do a trade.
But Nathan, look, let's work on this trade, man. Let's talk. Have your people call my people, baby. Let's do it.
You got to be careful with these guys, Nate. Last week, I'm over here telling them about how Russell Wilson's on waivers. If you go watch that episode again, you can see Sydney in the middle of the show grab his phone and go pick up Russell Wilson. Can't tell these guys nothing.
I did.
Telling you, man. Telling you. See, hey, look, and Nate, next show, we'll tell you about the art of the game. David talked about, he picked somebody up. I'm not going to start him. I'm just going to stash him because if I have him, I know somebody else does not have him. So we got to work on that. We got to get. You got any more questions for us, man?
I got a couple more questions. So, for example, I'm trying to claim Devonte Parker, and it's saying that it won't let me add him.
So it's still a waiver. So you're still on waiver. So every Tuesday, Anybody that's not on a team is available for a waiver pickup. Now, every team in the league has a chance to put in a waiver claim to get them. Now, your league has some sort of waiver system to where it decides the order of the waivers. And if somebody above you on the waiver order puts in that same waiver, they get that player and you don't. Now, this doesn't go until tomorrow, but you can put in multiple waivers and find out tomorrow who you actually got. But yeah, so you won't be able to pick up anybody.
We could probably do a whole show on waiver strategy and how to stack the waivers and whatnot. But say you only have one player that you want to drop, and you find 3 players you want to pick up. Rank those players and put in a waiver claim with the one player you want to drop for all 3 of those guys, and then adjust it so that it goes in the order you want. You know, if let's just say if you wanted Michael Carter, McNichols, and Montgomery in that order, you know, you take the San Francisco defense, you put in the claim for Michael Carter for the San Francisco defense. If somebody else above you steals Michael Carter, you also have the San Francisco defense in for the other 2 to pick up. If you get the first one, great, it's over. You got your guy, but stack it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Nathan, if you look at the screen, speaking of the waiver order, this is our waiver order in that league. So you got Delilah first, Nick 2, I'm 3, Janae is 4, and you're 5, Will 6, Ab 7, and Cameron is 8. So you know now that you're down at number 5, you might not get the top guys that you're looking at. That's why we're saying, like, dive deep into it and definitely go back and watch the segment previously about waiver wire and start looking and put multiple claims in. Don't put one claim in and just put everything on that, because the minute he gets taken, now you're like, where do I go from here? So this is where you lean on a lot of what I call the football nerddom. You know what I mean? Let's go through, let's comb through these guys, let's look through. You got to click on them and read the recent news, whatever, what have you. But definitely get into this. This is what all this stuff we watch all of this and we study it and we're paying attention to it. So this is normal stuff, but it's just essentially do your homework. You know what I mean? When you have this type of stuff, now you know kind of the waiver wire and how we can get that thing going. Now you start, okay, who do I got? Who are my 1, 2, 3? Just like when you did the draft, you know who your number 1 pick is, but if I don't get him, who are my next 2, 3? So when I come up, I can go right to the next guy. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellas.
Nice.
My last question is, okay, so for someone that's a novice when it comes to fantasy football, how many leagues should a novice generally have?
I think any more than 2 is excessive for somebody just starting. I think 1 or 2 is perfectly fine when you're just starting. The only reason I would lean 2 is just because it might be nice to try 2 different strategies since you're just starting out. Have 2 different draft strategies, have 2 different ways of playing it, keeping that depth. That maybe this would be like a learning experience if you kept your defenses and kickers and quarterbacks deep on your bench on the one, but on the other one you just rode running backs and receivers, and you could see the difference on how that plays out through the year. That's a good way to go about it. Also, the benefit of having 2 is if your team just gets riddled with injuries or you're not doing good, it's always nice because the other one, you'll probably have different players and you can kind of go about that and might be a lot better. But any more than that, when you're first starting, is a lot. It's a lot to follow and a lot to handle because you're messing with, you probably, honestly, I'm in 6 leagues, so I pretty much have every player. There's not many players I don't have on at least one of my teams. So you kind of just play with it that way. But yeah, I think 1 or 2 is the way to go. I don't think
he plays fantasy like he bets on sports. If you bet on everything, you're gonna win.
Yeah, eventually.
As long as football is played, I'm gonna win something.
That's the way to look at it. Yes. Yeah. Throw money everywhere. Something's gonna win. Something's gonna
stick eventually.
I love it. Let's go.
Yeah, Nathan, I completely agree with Sid on that last question, though. My first year, I only ran one team, and I really dove into the nuances of it. My brother Dylan was kind of my guide that year when I was just learning, and that one team, Obviously stumbled and tripped my way through the year. Dylan actually had to draft for me in that league, so I didn't even do the draft the first league. But I learned so much in that first year that going forward from that, the multiple league option really made things fun. But I definitely wouldn't overwhelm yourself too soon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really quick, Sean, could you show my recent victory?
Yeah.
over
Oh
Nick?
my goodness.
Nick, I love you. But the Baltimore Heat
Who'd he play?
pulled out.
Nick.
Played Nick. Hold up.
Pulled out. We
I would
escaped.
love to see this.
Yeah. Let me share it real quick. Wow. Where are we at here? There it is. Oh, 13-point victory. It was 145, 132. Wait till this pulls up. There we go. Ooh. You're second in that dirty division. I like that.
I just want to thank Travis Kelce for helping me get the win last night.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You survived.
All he needed was 20. He needed 19 points.
Yeah. You survived an AJ Brown 44.5 performance. Dear God.
Well, I didn't realize Derek got hurt until someone texted me. He's like, "Yo, I think Derrick Henry's hurt," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm,
hey, as long as you got Cooper Kupp. I mean, well, actually, you know what, man? I've been doing some research, Nathan. Cooper's really not that good, man. Let me take him off your hands real quick. Let me help you out, man. I just want to help you out, Nathan. Come on.
you want to offer me 4 first-round picks?
Look, I'll offer you 3 conditional, okay? 2 next year, 2 the following year, all right? And a Big Mac with fries, man. Come on.
Well, you want to pay the rest of his. You want to pay the rest of his salary.
Hey, well, let's go into the boardroom. All right, let's talk about it. Yeah, no, but definitely, I agree with everything they were saying about the defenses, the kickers, potentially even the quarterback. Get rid of them, open up some spots so you have some room. But same time, you have a solid lineup.
Well, mine is now Derrick Henry.
Well, yeah, but
your receiving core is solid, like DK, Stephon, and Kupp. You're never gonna take them out. So I would just stack up on running backs and wait until you find that guy.
So I put him to the bench.
Who?
DK Metcalf is they're on the bye week. Seattle.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah. San Francisco, I can drop them because, like Sid said earlier, they're trash.
No, they're not. They're not getting it done, and the schedule is not going to permit them to be that great. But then watch them have a great game this week, and we're all like, "Well, sorry about that."
Sunday, man.
Wow. Yeah, you're right, Dave. You're right. Any given Sunday. Good gracious.
No, what about my last question is, okay, so like at the end of the fantasy that football, like how do you guys how do you evaluate? Like, do you guys go like, okay, this is what I need to do for next year? Like, how do you approach the next season? For
me, it's trial and error. That's also one of the reasons why you have multiple leagues. I know the first year I did just one like everybody else. And the biggest thing I found, and something you guys all can relate to, is that, you love football. When you have it this time of the year, you're like, oh, I just want to get as much. And you have the one draft, and that draft is so exciting. And then you're like, oh, it's a letdown. I kind of want, you know what I mean? Like, I remember one year, like I'm like you, Sid, where I got 6 leagues. But I remember one year I was doing mock drafts like every other day, just like I had one mock draft after another. And I'm just like, oh, man, I wish I could keep this one. I wish I could, It's a lot of trial and error, Nathan, and it's a lot of, kind of seeing. And then at the end of the day, look, some of this stuff you can't really tell. I mean, I remember one year I got Dalvin Cook, and I had like AP when he was at his prime, and I had somebody else. And after the first week, both of them got knocked out for the season. And then what do you do? You know what I mean? So, I mean, it shows your knowledge. It gives light to shows like us that, kind of help you out with that type of stuff. But it's a lot of trial and error. I mean, what do you guys think?
I'll tell you, we talked about this earlier this year. This was the first year that I really jumped into the mock drafts, and I don't know if I will again. It's one or two just to get a feel for going through the draft and who you're looking for. But I'll tell you what, man, by the third round of the JerrysWorld draft, the entire thing was out the window. Because you just never know who the people in your league are going to take. But really, to prepare for the next season, exactly what you see us doing every week right here. Pouring over lists, looking at numbers, absorbing as much information as you can, doing your homework. It's not consuming, but favorite time of the year. I love it. I'm not scared to admit to you guys, for the last 6 weeks, I have not been asleep before 5:30 a.m.
It's my addiction.
The night before this show,
that's my addiction. That's funny.
I love it. I love it. I can sit out here for hours just looking over numbers. But at the end of the day, Sean nailed it. We're all just guessing. We're all guessing. You can make an educated guess.
Yeah.
But hey, look at me. I got the number 1 pick in Let's Talk Football draft, which means that here in week 8, I just took my 3rd loss. I was doing really well with the 24th pick in the draft because I had Christian McCaffrey for 1 week.
Yeah.
So I have essentially been running with the 24th pick in the draft, and I've been doing okay.
Yeah.
It's all just guessing, man, and do your homework. Put in the time, and I promise you that the time will it will work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my advice going forward. I know David doesn't like it because it's his first year, and it throws you off early on in the draft. But mock drafts, this is David's first year, so he hasn't learned yet. Once you learn how to mock draft and the point of mock drafts isn't to pick a good team based off of that mock draft. It's to see where players are going.
The trends
in a range. Now, in the top of the draft, that's always going to change because people that don't pay attention to fantasy are going to be like, even though Patrick Mahomes is about a 3rd-round quarterback, I know Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking him with my first pick. So that throws up the beginning of the draft. But what it does, mock drafting, is it tells you that Matthew Stafford's going between 8th and 12th round. So I can wait on a quarterback because I know Matthew Stafford's going to be there way down the road. It tells you that there's 4 good tight ends, and I can get Rob Gronkowski in the 12th round. So I don't need to draft a tight end. That's what I honestly. Right. That's what I drafted Gronk in 4 leagues. I mean, granted he's been hurt, but when he was healthy, obviously he was balling out. So doing the mocks just tells you what you can do later on. So what I do on mocks is I'm like, all right, I'm going to take 2 running backs and see what my team looks like by the end of this. Yeah. Or I'm going to take 2 receivers to start and see what I get by the end of this. And generally how it happens is you take 2 receivers and you end up with Michael Carter as your starting running back. So I always go against that trait, but that's the point of mock drafts to me, is to figure out this is how I knew receivers were so deep. Robert Woods was going in the 6th round, 7th round. Yeah. You could get T. Higgins, Marquise Brown in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round. Michael Pittman Jr. in the 12th, 13th, 14th round. So the point of mock drafts to me is to figure out what guys you can get late that are available that you really like. Cooper Kupp in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. He wasn't one of the top guys,
right?
But that's the point of mock drafts, I think, and doing mock drafts, I think, is the best advice I can give you. Is do mock drafts, a lot of mock drafts.
And hey, look, at the end of the day, especially during the draft, run your race. You know what I mean? It's very easy, and I know with us, we had the draft we had a live show and everybody's talking, everybody's saying their stuff. It's real easy to kind of get off your game and get into this and let me get this guy. Don't you run your race. You told me before, I had a pick, I had a list of guys. You go with your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, you get your little depth chart, you write it down, and you run your race, you do what you need to do, and you go from there. And Nathan, if all else fails, you do what I did. you make a show called Let's Talk Fantasy Football, and you get two gurus to talk about it, and you pick their brains, and you say, yeah, let's help everybody else out. Yes. What? Yes.
Well played, sir.
I like
Well
that.
played.
I like that.
Yo, we do have one more question. Shout out to Nick. And this is a different Nick from YouTube. He says, 10-team league, full PPR. Should I trade Khalil Herbert and Justin Jefferson for Adam Thielen and Damian Harris?
I would take that trade. That's the second one that I would take. Khalil Herbert is good now. He's a viable starter for sure.
Yep.
But once David Montgomery comes back, I think that job's his. So he's not going to be a long-term play as much. Damian Harris is a long-term play, and I think is currently better than Khalil Herbert. He's in a better offense. Better offensive line. They're going to run him the ball at goal lines, and you think he's going to get it. I like him more than Herbert, and I think right now Thielen over Jefferson. I mean, Justin Jefferson's probably more talented, but Thielen's consistent.
Yep.
Thielen's going to get you 10 to 20 every single week, where Justin Jefferson will get you 30, but he'll also get you 8. So It's like, I'll take the consistency in both Thielen and Harris for the rest of the season over Khalil Herbert for the next couple of weeks and Justin Jefferson's inconsistency.
Yeah.
100%. I always preach, I like consistency. I'll take a player who gets their points through yards and targets over a player who gets their production through touchdowns. Those are home run guys. I want solid, steady, dependable. And this is 2 home run hitters against 2 grinders.
Right.
So absolutely 100% behind that one.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. As a person who has represented in one of his 6 leagues, has 3 of these guys represented. I have Jefferson, I have Thielen, and I picked up Herbert recently. Thielen is, like you guys said, he's consistent. Period. At the end. I mean, Jefferson, I think him like Justin Herbert, we kind of jump on him because of, the accolades from a year ago. But Justin Jefferson he's not consistent. He'll give you a big game and then he'll lay 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points on you, and Thielen gets it done. If he's healthy, he gets it done. And Damian Harris, you guys mentioned it earlier in the show. I think Damian Harris is somebody that you can potentially rely on because you know what Belichick does. Belichick seems to like him going forward. So yeah, I'm in agreement with that, man. Let's go. Yo, Nathan, I appreciate you, my man. I thank you for coming on, man. I hope we helped you. We answered your questions.
Yes, I appreciate y'all.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, my guy Nathan Snell, host of Nate's Big Talk. Nate, talk to him, man. I'm tongue tied right now. Talk to him.
But before Nate goes.
Oh wait, who?
I got
is that
a package today.
That's Ash. There she is.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Don't go anywhere. I want to show these guys the package I just got from NFL Shop. Just stay.
Oh, God.
No, I can't do this. No. No, you're not the boys. Oh God. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Ash to the show. She owns victories she owns victories over the 3 hosts. Look, she owns victories over all 3 of us in this league. And it hasn't been pretty. I actually had one game where I was up at the end of the games and then something happened and then I lost. So
stat correction.
You're right.
And the Let's Talk Football one, I win and I shouldn't ever. But somehow I always should.
Wow. No, your NFL team wins and they shouldn't. That's who shouldn't be winning.
They should.
Let's go.
Fantasy is not legit for me.
We them boys, man. We them boys.
We got to get you on. I mean, I appreciate this. I love this, but we got to get you on this show, man. You're the only one who could talk trash to all 3 of us, and we can't say a word to you.
Oh, I'll talk trash.
On second thought, let's not do that.
Right? No, actually, no. This is good.
I don't understand why you're on a fantasy show when you can't even beat me.
Oh my God.
See what I got to put up with, Sean?
Yeah.
See what I got to put up with?
Wow.
Yellow fire.
Can't win. I am number 1 in 2 leagues, and then tied for second in 1 league. And you are, I don't even know, not on my level.
All right, Ash. You're breaking up, Ash.
Yep.
I can't hear you. I can't.
Yep.
I can't do it. I'm taking enough from my team. I can't take it in fantasy too. Please, guys. Yo, look, I'm gonna keep you in here, Nate, because we got one more quick little part to do. Sid, I'm coming to you. Bet of the week. Sid, what you got, man?
So it is early on in the week, so it was hard to. I was going to do a fun prop bet, but none of the props are up yet. So I went with something that I think is going to be pretty easy to hit, but pays you pretty good money. So I'm going with the Thursday night game because it's pretty much the only one that I like right now that I can see some stuff on. And I'm going both Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman Jr. each to score a touchdown.
Well,
Now you combine that together, they each score a touchdown. The Jets give up 30 points to everybody. So
everybody, yeah.
I mean, the number 1 receiver, number 1 running back should get in there. If that's the case, plus 285. So you throw $10 on that, you get 38.50 back.
Okay,
nice little return on your investment. I like that one. But like that one for this week.
Yeah, I like that. And I will mention myself before mentioning somebody else, but I mentioned I came on here last week and I told you guys that I was betting on college and it was good. It was nice last week. Everything was all good just a week ago. But this week it was terrible. I got excited. I put my winnings and a little bit more in and did not return a good return. So, but I've been on this horse for a while. I hopped on. I saw Sid ride by on his horse, Cadillac, his pony, his Mustang. So I hopped on my little small horse, been riding. But somebody also hopped on a horse, and they fell off. My guy is back in the betting game. Dave, you want to talk about that for a second, man?
I mean, I prefer to think of it as falling off the wagon. So I just the danger of opening the app. I went in. I saw I still had $15 in Caesars. I had $15 in FanDuel. I was like, I'll look through this, and then all of a sudden I placed an 8-leg money line parlay and a 7-leg money line parlay in the other app. Detroit failed me in both. Cincinnati failed me in both. But hey, it was $30 to win like almost 900. So it was fun. I'll be back in 3 weeks.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be back in 3 weeks.
Hey, look here, and here's the PSA: kids, don't gamble. Adults, gamble if you have the money to gamble.
I literally just opened them to like look through the bets, so I would have a bet to talk about with Sid, and I've got an 8-leg parlay. I don't even know what happened. I blacked out.
See what happens, man? It keeps calling you back. Every time I try to leave, something keeps calling me back. Let's get it. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad that we had you on the show. Nathan Snell, so glad we had you. You're able to join us. And Ash, so glad you were able to join us too. From the phone, that live on call. Yo, we so appreciate you guys. Hopefully we've been able to help you. Hopefully you're still in fantasy contention. Me with my 2-6 in the Let's Talk Football league is pretty awful, but I'm still here. I'm not 1-6. Jay, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I had to take a shot because I got nothing else. Washington's 2-6. My fantasy teams are 2-6. And Sid just beat me. This has just been awful. Why am I doing a show right now? I don't even need it. Nate, you're the new host, man. Yo, look, we got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here. For myself, you know who it is, man. The guy that never sleeps, Mr. Sean Spencer. Hey, my guy that all he knows how to do is say those 4 words. How about them Cowboys? Let's go. Yo, the guy, and I just noticed this right now. Rivals are sitting next to each other because on one side, you got the guy that's sitting in front of the steel curtain, Mr. Steeler himself, Stairway to 7, Sidney Swinton.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, but right next to him, you got the guy that says, hey, all the media does is move the goalpost on Lamar. Lamar is the guy, and hey, he rocks him. My guy, Nathan Snell. What's up? Yo, Nate, you going on later on tonight. Big Nate Talk podcast. Tell them what you got going on tonight, man.
This is episode 8 of season 4 of the podcast, recapping NFL weekend. I got to go over the playoffs, World Series. We're in Game 5. I thought it would have been not a sweep, but I thought Braves would have won, but didn't happen. Obviously, Thursday Night Football preview. A couple other things like around the NBA, the Wizards, obviously. And then also trying to start talking with college basketball. Men and women's are starting up soon. So it's right now just exhibitions where they're all getting blown up by like 40, 50 points.
Yeah.
So definitely be on the lookout for that. So
I could dig it. Yo, definitely check out my guy Nathan Snell, man. Big Nate Talk podcast on YouTube, man. He's got his podcast channel, One Nathan Snell on YouTube, killing the game. Over 100 subs, man. Just putting out stuff every single day. Look, y'all sit here and say, "Yo, Sean, man, you got a show every day." You did it. I ain't nothing to this man right here. This man has 2 and 3 shows. Hey, you grinding, man. I've seen you. I stayed up late to watch. I've seen you on the thing, man. You're doing your thing. Look,
I appreciate
it. We are so glad. We are so glad you were here to join us today. We're so glad we're able to get this stuff out to you. We have to let you go and move on. Check out, if you're a college football fan, there's a couple of Mid-American Conference. That's the MAC Conference, like from Kent State, Buffalo, Ohio, teams like that. They're playing tonight, getting close to that time when you're starting to realize in college and pro, okay, who's doing good and who can go ahead and wait till next year. We're one of those teams. But look, gotta let you go, man. I absolutely love doing this with you guys, and I know all my guys here echo that sentiment, man. So we're glad we were able to bring this to you, and we will definitely be back with you next week. Same time, same place, man. Hope we helped you. Peace out, man.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. Come on.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And